This has to be the best steering wheel I have ever set my hands on so far, and I mean it. It's called PXN V12 Lite, and in today's video I will unbox it, do a complete setup guide and give you my first impressions about it. I will do the unboxing first and I will explain what is all about a direct drive racing wheel. Just a hint, it feels exactly, and I mean exactly, like a real vehicle direction. But bear with me for a moment and you will find out why. So, let's go ahead and do the unboxing. You will get 4 boxes in the package, including the steering wheel base, the desk or cockpit mount, and the pedals. I will go through every one of them and actually shut up for a moment so you can get the real unboxing feeling of this steering wheel. But no worries, I will put some text on the screen so you know what I have in my hands. Now that everything is out of the box, let's quickly get this thing mounted on my desk and see how it drives. Trust me, it looks complicated, but it's actually really simple to set it up. I will start with the desk mount, so get this specific piece, place and align it with your desk, then get these 2 clamps and install them just like I do. The other piece of the clamp will go on the wheelbase, so get the wheelbase, rotate it and install the tray on top of it, just like this. Next, let's install the wheelbase onto the desk mount and tighten the bolts. By the way, this setup is fully compatible with the cockpit and it's actually recommended, so if you want to go with a fully professional setup, get yourself a nice cockpit, especially with such a strong steering wheel. The easiest step is actually installing the steering wheel itself onto the base. You just need to make sure it's properly aligned and just push it into place. And once we are here, I would like to mention that this thing is rock solid. It has the strongest build quality I have ever seen on a steering wheel. Nothing moves, nothing squeaks, everything feels like you can literally sit on it without breaking anything. Anyways, when it comes to the pedals, you just have to place them in the right order, so clutch, brake and acceleration. get these two cables and connect them just like I do. And as we're here, it would be a good idea to also connect the base cable which goes from the pedals to the wheelbase. Once this is done, make sure you clear the cable away from the bolts and place the metal tray on them. Just tighten all these 12 bolts and you're done. By the way, this piece is indeed for the brakes and it's really easy to install. Plus, it makes the brake pedal much better. You can now plug the pedals, the shifter if you have one, the USB cable and the power cable into the wheelbase, turn the steering wheel on and you're good to go. Following the good PXN tradition, you have a phone app to go through the settings, and trust me, it's an amazing feature because you can actually play and adjust the settings in real time. So you don't have to minimize the game 100 times to slightly adjust and set the steering wheel and realize that you have to redo this another 50 times and takes forever, you know what I mean. So let's go through what is this steering wheel all about, why is it so good, how can it precisely simulate a real vehicle direction. The most important aspect is that this racing wheel is part of the direct drive lineup from PXN. Now what is this direct drive? Well, you basically no longer have those gears or belts connecting your steering wheel axle to the force feedback motors. The steering wheel axle goes directly into the force feedback motor, and there are many benefits out of this. For example, it's more precise, more powerful, it can rotate endlessly, and it's overall more direct. Okay, you can stop now. But what matters is the actual feeling you get, and please bear with me, I will try to explain it as best as I can. Unlike the conventional steering wheel where you can feel the gears, you have that cranky feeling, or if it's belt driven it has too much resistance. Now with the direct drive you basically have the exact feeling of a real vehicle's servo direction. I just cannot express how close this is to driving a real car. It's perfectly smooth, it can be very light, and in the same time it will return to center very quickly, or it can be set to be very heavy and precise for racing, for example. It actually has 6 Nm of torque, and its bigger brother, the V12, has 10, which is absolutely insane. And why is it so important to have direct drive technology on your steering wheel? Well, when it comes to truck simulators, for example, you can set how many degrees you want your steering wheel to turn. You can do that for the in-game steering wheel animation too, so they match. And finally, you have a real truck steering wheel simulation, as you can actually see in the video. And for those who already have a steering wheel, you know what I'm talking about. In order to center faster, it sometimes has to be unnecessarily heavy, but with the direct drive V12 Lite, and actually V12, you can have a fast centering and also have the light feeling of a servo direction, which is mind-blowing. Now, when it comes to racing drivers, this is where the steering wheel can actually shine. It has more than enough torque. As I said before, it's fast, it's insanely precise, it's silent, it has a cooler for temperature control, and it's solid. So if you want to use it in racing games and have a professional setup, it's perfect. If you want to use it in truck or bus simulator games, it's also perfect. And talking about compromises, we'll have to mention the downsides. I don't think there is any deal-breaking factor, but you have to consider a few things. First of all, this is quite a heavy and powerful product, so you have to make sure you have a good desk or cockpit for it, cause otherwise you will end up with a flying desk. Also, the pedals, they are extremely precise, but they are aimed towards racing. They will do a good job in any game without any problem, truck simulators included, but they are meant to be used with a proper cockpit and racing games. So keep that in mind. And finally, the price. At this moment, V12 Lite is almost double the price of a V10, which brings us to another question. Is it worth it over the V10? Well, this is going to be a topic for another video, as I am planning to do a full detailed comparison along the entire lineup. But the short answer is, in my opinion, if you want to go fully professional and get the best feeling, yes, it's absolutely worth it. But if you want to get the best price, V10 is more than good enough. Actually, I am going to keep using the V10 for a while, because I would need a bigger green screen setup and a stiffer support for the V12 Lite. So, especially for my recording setup, the V10 is still going to be in the videos, at least for a while. Anyways, if you have any question or video request, feel free to write them down in the comment section. And until the next one, stay tuned.